name is Karen Sarkisian. I'm here together with Antoine Brouw today. I'm very excited to be here, first of all. So the topic we are going to talk about today is forecasting, planning, and pricing. But maybe first a little bit about IG&H itself. So we work for IG&H, which is originally a consulting company with a long history in retail consulting, more than 35 years. And over time, we have started to incorporate more data analytics and more technology in our consulting work. So we grew to be a consulting and technology firm over time. We have a very strong heritage in supply chain management. So supply chain management has always been one of our core focus areas over time and still is today. And that's also one of the reasons that I started working for IG&H. So I study supply chains, I ran my own supply chain, I worked in supply chains, I provide guest lectures at university about supply chains. So I really love supply chain management, I breathe supply chains. And that's the reason why I'm here today, because I'm very enthusiastic about the story that we have to tell you today. And it's all about bringing a new, fresh perspective to planning through a holistic and integrated approach to forecasting, planning, and pricing. So hence also the name, Predict, Plan, and Price. So, you've probably heard it many times today, but running a profitable business, running a profitable retail business is more complex than ever. And you can break that down into two parts. You can break it down into the demand part and also in the supply part. So supply chains are becoming increasingly complex, are becoming increasingly disrupted by external factors. Supply bases keep expanding, becoming more complex. It's really becoming a lot harder to predict and plan your supply chain. And the same we see at the customer side. So customers have higher expectations. Sales channels are blurring. Product life cycles are shortening while assortments are growing. So if you take all of these things together, the everyday life of a supply chain planner becomes very complex, very hard to manage. And this leads to retailers not having the right products available for the right price at the right time and place. And this is the real everyday struggle. And what we see is that there are typically three reasons why this is so hard to manage. The first of them is that there is no analytics capability within organizations to do accurate forecasting over time. So what will I sell of a particular product at the particular location at the specific day, 6 months ahead in time? Who knows? It's very difficult to predict that. But I believe that we are at a point that we can do that. But that's one of the first reasons. The second one is that there is often no central applications to manage forecasting, planning, pricing. So what we see in practice is that there is a lot of usage of Excel, and often even multiple Excels that hang together on a thin cord. And that's a problem because that's not sustainable, and it's error prone, and it isn't efficient in your day-to-day business. Third of all, there's limited or missing pricing capabilities within organizations. So static prices are being held for over longer periods of time without diversification, without steering on price and what it can do with your demand and your stock. So how can you use pricing to maximize your stock value? This is a question that not many retailers and corporate institutions seem to have an answer for, but we do. Because we believe that data science has evolved to the point that a lot of things that we found impossible a few years ago are possible now. And it enables advanced forecasting, planning, and replenishment. So maybe start off with forecasting itself. So forecasting models become increasingly advanced. They can help you better predict your demand. And this can be broken down into several parts. So of course you have your sales, your historic sales data, the base for your forecast of your demand, of course, which probably has some holes in it. Moments that you didn't have any stock that could have been a sale. So you can use AI and machine learning models to find those gaps and to fill those gaps with actual demand that could have been if you had the product in stock. Second of all, seasonality. We have trends and breaking points that you can easily identify. Product life cycles. So it's very difficult, of course, to understand how a product will do, especially new products. And how do you compare those new products to products that you already have in your assortment? How do you make sure that you understand how the sales will start, grow over time, and then diminish over time? It's almost undoable without the right technology and data solutions in place. Of course, growth and decline over time, and even local patterns. So your products can do really well in the city, but less in rural areas. Your products could be. There are a lot of things to say about local patterns and locations if you look at sales. And if you take that all together, these are just 6 examples of things that you can really pinpoint more accurately with advanced algorithms. There are many more. And the idea is that if you take those together and you find a model that works for your company that incorporates these new techniques, helps you predict your demand, you can do your planning much better. So that's the right-hand side, is the replenishment part. Because if you look at retail, it's mostly DCs and stores, of course. And using your forecast, you can very effectively replenish your DC and your stores. Also using those advanced algorithms and automated systems for replenishment. But the real crux here is, of course, advanced forecasting, automated and accurate replenishment. But what we truly believe in is the integration also with pricing, with dynamic pricing specifically. And that's also the base of our story here today. So I'm going to give the word to Antoine, who will tell us more about dynamic pricing.
Yeah, thank you. Now, like Karen said, of course, we saw a lot today about planning, but I believe you can't do planning without actually knowing the price. And I'll come to dynamic pricing, but on the basis if we sold a product, we're forecasting based on what it has sold before. But you need to know what the actual price was in the market at the time. Were you the cheapest in the market? Your supply chain doesn't know. What will your price be in the next 10 days or the next 14 days? Will you be as cheap or will it be a lot more expensive than your competition? And then your sales will drop. So they need to be integrated. And a lot of companies use different set of software. I've worked in retail myself in operation for the last 20 years. And I connected all these systems together to Google Sheets to really combine the two, because one can't do without the other. I'll come back to that later, but to dynamic pricing, if you have more SKUs, if you have 10 or 20, it's doable to do it manually. But if up from 1,000 to 2,000, becomes very complex to do that. If you look at the big pure players like the Amazon and Bol, they change their prices 4 times a day. So whatever you do, you will never have the correct price. You'll either be too cheap or too expensive. So it means you need to automate. And that's step 1. You crawl all the competitors, you get the correct prices. Then you need a pricing strategy. So what will my strategy be? You can be stock based. So what is the rotation of my product? Do I need to automate my markdowns? Like in fashion, will I wait until the end of the season in September to sell my swimming wear at 40% discount? Or during the season already see that the life cycle is normally 10 weeks, that I will have too much end stock and start reducing already with 10%, so lower this discount, but where the market is still bigger. All these things you can automate, or really competitor-based, so I want to be the cheapest in the market, or I want the mean of these 3 competitors. All these things is rules you can set in a pricing engine, especially if you start combining that together with forecasting, it becomes really, really accurate, and you can't do without having the 2. So you can do it with 2 systems, but of course, if you have nothing, it's far easier to integrate 1 system, 1 implementation, because it's only 1 data set, because in every supply chain system, you will also add your price. But adding dynamic pricing to it is actually the main logic where you can do all these things. And also with your promotion, if you have a pricing engine, it will calculate what the price elasticity of a product is. So you can actually calculate the products that I need to promote, take the ones with the highest price elasticity. With your prices, what will be my forecast of the next 2 weeks? What will our prices do? What will it do to my forecast. All these things you can integrate with software nowadays, and we have built inNOWvate. That's the basis to have new technology, so AI and machine learning, and really integrate forecasting, replenishment, and pricing into one solution. So we're not going to show all the screens and the logic, but you're happy to welcome to our booth. And we also developed a checklist with 10 questions, which is on the supply-demand side, or in our booth, which you can fill in to see where you're absolutely up to the challenge. So come and visit us. If there are any questions, please let us know.